guys, my name is Cassidy and you're watching That Spooky Lifestyle, where we bring the ooky, the spooky, the creepy and the crawly into our everyday lives. Today I am going to be talking with you guys about some options you can do when you get a bad haircut, because trust me, it will happen. It is inevitable. You know, you go to the hairdresser, you got this plan, you're like, yep, this is what I want, this is how it's gonna look, I'm excited, it's gonna look so freaking cool. And then you walk out of the hairdresser's going like, what the just happened, you know? And I hate that. I hate when it's like, you know, you get that panicky feeling because you're just like, oh my god, I hate this, I don't know what to do. So yeah, we are going to talk about some options that you have if your hairdresser has just cut your hair too short, especially if you were going for a pixie or like a longer style. We'll be talking about all of that, some options you have, so don't panic, we will get into that. Before we get started, if you are coming from one of my previous pixie hair videos, this channel has had 2 name changes in its lifetime. It used to be XOXO Pretty Bitches, and then it was Poisoned Productions, and now it's That Spooky Lifestyle. So if you're confused, like, join the club, because us too. Lastly, before we get started, if you do have pixie hair and you are looking to get more pixie hair tutorials, head on over to my Instagram at That Spooky Lifestyle, and you can check out their quick little 1-minute tutorials on how to style a bunch of different hair. Once I get enough of them, I'm going to compile them into one video and put them on YouTube, but while you're waiting for that, they are available right now on my Instagram. I think I have 3 or 4 styles up right now. So yeah, go check that out if you're interested. I will have it linked in the description and the comments below. So if you're watching this video, chances are you just got a really bad haircut. So step 1 is don't panic. But if you need to, have a quick little meltdown, have a couple of tears, get it out of your system. Because I think the first thing is just the shock of being like, holy shit, I don't know what to do with this. This isn't anything that I wanted. I hate how it looks. What am I gonna do? Like, it's kind of an overwhelming feeling when you first get a haircut where you're just like, this ain't it, sis. I definitely understand that feeling, and it's not vain if, you know, that's how everyone sees you. And if you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, it's hard to have that confidence, even just in everyday stuff, like going to the grocery store and stuff can kind of seem, what's the word, intimidating now, because you're like, shit, I look like crazy. Sometimes it doesn't matter what you look like, but sometimes in like a professional setting and things like that, your appearance does matter. You do have to kind of, you know, step up a little bit. So I do understand that in certain situations, it's totally okay to feel embarrassed. So after you've had your like fuck fit, like panic breakdown in either the car or at home, you know, after you've had your meltdown of like, oh my god, this is not what I was expecting, I hate how it looks. After you've had that moment, I think the next thing to do is remind yourself that you are the person who keeps your attitude in check. So if you constantly bring that nervous, like self-conscious energy everywhere you go, that's gonna invite negative feedback. So if you're constantly like, oh my god, I hate my hair, oh my god, this, you know, you're gonna have some friends who are awesome and they're gonna be like, it looks fine, don't worry about it. And then you're gonna have some totally random assholes that are like, yeah, it looks like shit, like this is ugly, that's hideous, you shouldn't have done that. So don't even invite that energy if you're already self-conscious about your hair, okay? So the first thing to do is just like, don't mention it. If you got a bad haircut, you don't have to tell people like, oh my god, I just absolutely hate it, I don't know what to do. You can say you don't like it, but be casual about it. Like, just be like, yeah, I got this haircut, you know, it's not my favorite, but it's gonna grow out in 2 weeks and then I'll get something else done. You know, like, that's the attitude you have to bring. You have to be like, yeah, I don't like it, but it's not a big deal. Like, you have to be the one that kind of calms everyone else around you, because if you're constantly bringing nervous, like, I'm self-conscious, I don't know what to do energy, then like, that invites negative feedback, and that's not helping the situation at all, right? If you already don't like your haircut, you know what it is, and the only thing to do now is wait. So after you've got your attitude in check, the next thing you should consider is looking up hairstyles that complement your personal style that you can try with your own hair. So this is going to be, like, for me personally, normally when I get a bad haircut, what has happened is they've given me a mom haircut, or like a suburban mom haircut, stereotypical. There's a lot of moms out there with really amazing hair, that's not what I'm talking about. You know what I mean, like the, you know, the Susan that lives in Beverly Hills that, you know, has like the tuft short hair that's literally almost this haircut. And no one wants that. When you go for a pixie, you want to be edgy, you want to be fun, you want to be stylish. Like, that's what people want to go for now. So a lot of the times though, if I get an inexperienced hairdresser with cutting short hair, which unfortunately there are a few of them, it can come out looking very much like a mom haircut, and that's not what I'm here for. So what I like to do, again, after, you know, I've had my panic attack and then after I've calmed myself down, I play around with my hair on like a Sunday afternoon, you know, and I'll do a bunch of different styles just like this. I'll see, like, can I faux hawk it? Can I, you know, slick it back? Can I make it messy and like really give it some volume? Is that what I'm looking for? You know, I practice different things to make the hair kind of more complement my personal style. And as you do that and as you work with your hair, you'll find certain styles that, you know, you might not love them, but they will at least get you past the growth season. So the next thing you have to realize is if your hair is too short, all you can do is let it grow. You have to let it grow. So there's going to be a good, you know, 3-4 weeks where like this is the hairstyle you're gonna have and you just gotta live with it. So if this is your first pixie haircut, a lot of times with hair it'll get shocked, and so it'll be a lot stiffer the first like 6-7 days that you get it cut, and then after that your hair will start to relax. It'll start to kind of remember how you like to style it. That sounds silly, but like if you always style your hair forward, after a week your hair will lay forward more easily than it did prior to styling it forward. You know, if you always have it on this side and then you try and move it this way, you know, it can kind of do that weird cowlick thing. That's because it's not used to laying that way. So after a few weeks, once you've kind of gotten your style down, your hair will mold more easily, it will style more easily, and it will lay in the direction that you need it to. Since you have to wait around and let it grow anyways, you might as well play around with different styles that you can do with it, because you may never have this haircut again. So a really good attitude to have is like, I'm never gonna have this again, I might as well make the best of it. Let's see what I can do with this. And if this is your first pixie or you're having a lot of trouble with your pixie, I'm going to recommend a couple of products. Not the brand specific products I have, just the type of product it is. So you don't have to get the exact ones I have, just the type of product. So, you know, instead of getting, you know, Dove hairspray, you just get a hairspray. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go into that next, because pixies are insanely hard to style if you don't have the right products or you don't have enough products. They can be very difficult and it can be very frustrating because you're constantly trying to get your hair to do one thing and it just won't. And with pixie hair, you do need to invest in more products because you're trying to get your hair to kind of like defy gravity or, you know, lay certain ways. Whereas with long hair, it's more about just having it fall naturally and having it look shiny and nice. Like, the two styling techniques are completely different, and when you're doing pixie hairstyles, you really have to get your hair getting thick and what would be the word, moldable, and so you do need certain products for that. These are my holy grails personally. Again, not the brand, just the type of product. So I have this powder. I use this a lot. This powder you put just at your roots, and what it does is it mats your roots so that it gives your hair more lift. That's why when I can lift my hair up like this and it still kind of lifts up. It doesn't stay straight because I haven't like tufted it like I did this back stuff. But it just helps give your hair more volume. Whether you have thin hair, whether you have thick hair, this works really great, this powdery stuff, and a bunch of different brands make it. The next thing you will need is either a wax spray or a flexible spray. So this is a dry powder finishing spray. And so what it does, it's not a hairspray per se. Like when you spray it in and you smush your hair like this, it helps keep your hair up. Similar to this, but I like to spray this all over my hair, whereas this is just for the roots. And then you are going to need some sort of paste, what is this called? This is a matte workable wax sculpture. And again, it's just so you can kind of go through your hair and get that really piecey look that's kind of super in right now. So if that's something that you're looking to do, you're definitely going to need something like this. And then I just like to get a flexible hairspray. Doesn't matter, again, whatever brand. These products are pretty standard for most like hair companies, so you can go anywhere and find this stuff. Like, it'll be at your local drugstore for super cheap. Yeah, so after you've invested in some products that you can do to kind of help play around with your hair, I would then look up different tutorials on YouTube or Instagram. Check out my Instagram. And I would look for haircuts similar to yours. If you can't find your own, you may just have to play around with it yourself and see what you can do. But I will be honest, the most obvious thing is don't just hide behind a hat or a toque all week. Like, that's unrealistic for most people. Like, most people can't just wear a toque all day at work. Most people can't just wear a hat all day at work. So just try your best to style it as best as you can, and remember, in 3 to 4 weeks your hair is going to have grown out and it's going to lay different, it's going to style different, it's going to be completely different. You just have to really get through that 3 to 4 week span, and then you'll be able to look at different options you have, whether you want to get it recut in certain spots or if you just want to continue to let it grow. But it will be easier to style after that kind of section of time. On top of that, and this one might be a bit obvious, if you've gotten a really bad pixie haircut at one hairdresser, it's not that they're a bad hairdresser. That is not it at all. It's just a lot of hairdressers specialize in color because color is so much more common for people. So if you go to someone's Instagram account, a lot of hairdressers have their own accounts now so you can see their work, and all you see are like balayages and, you know, ombres. That is not the stylist for you, okay, girl? That was your first mistake. You need to go to the person who's got all the guy short haircuts and the fades and, you know, they're doing the tattoo, because even if you don't want that extreme of a haircut, they will still be better versed in doing short hair, and if you show them a photo, they will be able to better create that than someone who just does color, because they specialize in something that's completely different than what you're asking. I prefer to do the research myself, because I have had a few times where I've called the salon and been like, yeah, I'm going from, you know, shoulder length to a pixie, and then walk out with a mom haircut, and I'm just like, it's just an experience. But it does frustrate me when, like, I made the effort to be like, I need someone who knows what they're doing, and then the salon kind of like under-delivered, you know? And there are just going to be some times where, you know, you did everything right. You did your research, you brought in the photo, and it still doesn't turn out how you want. And sometimes that's just it. Sometimes it's too much of a complicated cut, or sometimes, you know, you still need to shop around for a barber or hairdresser that works for you. That's just how it goes sometimes. I would also play around with using headbands, because sometimes that's a really good way that you can still wear it to work, but it can hide some of the spots that you don't like. If you put a headband in and then kind of tuft all your hair back, it's a good way to just hide whatever you don't like. Just remember, guys, to play around with it. You're stuck with it for at least 3 to 4 weeks, so you might as well make the best of it. I've had some really bad haircuts that I look back on and I'm like, oh, that was kind of fun. That was a different cut that, you know, I'm not going to get again, but it is kind of cool that I got it at some point just to see how it would look on me. Just remember that, like, in a year you're going to look back and be like, oh yeah, I did get that. I hated it, but it's kind of interesting, like, just to see it now. Just remember, don't panic, and there's an entire community out here that loves short hair. Like, trust me, if you don't like your hairstyle, there's probably 100,000 people that do. So don't be discouraged just because it's not your cup of tea. There's still lots of people out here who would love it, think it looks cute. Like, I can guarantee you that. I've had the worst haircuts. I've made a video when having them and people are just like, oh my god, it's so cute. And it's like, oh my god, that's so funny, because at the time I hated it. Now I look back now and I'm like, no, that was actually kind of cute. So just remember, don't panic and make the best of it. That's really all you can do. So just a reminder, all my pixie hair tutorials are on my Instagram right now, linked down below at That Spooky Lifestyle. Quick little 1-minute tutorials if you want to go see that. I do have my old pixie tutorials on this channel if you want to check them out as well. They will give you some good inspiration. But yeah, I think that's it. That's all, guys. Good luck with your hairstyles. You know, we've all had a bad hair day, so don't worry, you are not alone in this. And yeah, I will see you in my next video.